When I think about the idea of family, I always picture it as the very first community we're part of, even before we understand what community means. How do you see family's role in shaping us early on?
It's like family creates the blueprint for how we interact with the rest of the world. The way we communicate, our sense of belonging, even little habits, they all start right at home. I remember picking up my dad's knack for telling stories, just because that was our dinner table routine.
I totally relate to that. My family always had this ritual of cooking together on Sundays, and I still find myself gravitating toward group activities because of it. It's wild how those early patterns echo into adulthood.
Definitely, and what's funny is you don't even realize it's happening at the time. Only later, when you catch yourself repeating your grandma's sayings or your brother's jokes, does it hit you how deep those roots go? That actually makes me wonder about how family shapes not just habits but our values too.
Oh, absolutely, values are huge. I've noticed a lot of my core beliefs, like honesty and showing up for friends, really took root from how my parents handled things at home. Did your family have any values they emphasized?
My parents were all about kindness, which meant we were always volunteering or helping neighbors. I used to roll my eyes at some of those weekend chores, but now I catch myself offering to help people even when I'm tired. It's like those values just become part of how you navigate the world.
That makes sense. Sometimes it's not even explicit lessons, just watching how your family treats people around them. I still remember how my aunt would always make extra food, just in case a neighbor dropped by. That sense of openness stuck with me.
It's amazing how those little gestures add up. But not every family passes down the same things. Sometimes there are clashes between generations, or even within siblings. That brings up the tricky side of family, doesn't it?
Oh, for sure. Family isn't always smooth sailing. There've definitely been times when I've butted heads with relatives over everything from traditions to life choices. Have you ever faced those moments where it felt like you and your family were worlds apart?
Totally, especially during my late teens. My parents had one vision for my future, and I was going in the complete opposite direction. It was tough, but looking back, those disagreements actually helped me define my own identity.
I get that. Sometimes I felt guilty for disagreeing or wanting something different. But as awkward as it could be, it forced us to really talk things through. And I think we ended up understanding each other better because of it.
And sometimes, accepting that you won't always see eye to eye is what makes those relationships stronger in the long run. That reminds me, how do you see family evolving over time as people grow up and maybe even move away?
It's interesting because even when family members are spread out, the sense of connection doesn't always fade. I moved to a new city for work, and suddenly our phone calls and group chats became so much more important. Did your family find ways to stay close despite busy schedules or distance?
Yeah. We started doing weekly video calls when my sister moved abroad. At first, it felt a little awkward, but now it's something we all look forward to. We even do silly theme nights sometimes just to make it fun. It's like the family bond adapts as life changes, but doesn't disappear.
I love that. And sometimes, new traditions emerge from those changes. For example, I'd never baked cookies on my own until I had to send care packages to my younger brother in college. Now it's something we both look forward to when he visits.
That's such a good point. Families don't stand still. They grow and shift, but the connection can stay strong in new ways. Speaking of changing connections, how do you think families shape our sense of identity as adults?
Honestly, I think family leaves a kind of imprint on who we become, even as we branch out and create our own lives. There are moments when I catch myself using my dad's laugh or following my mom's advice without even thinking. It's almost like carrying a bit of home wherever I go.
I feel the same way. Even when I'm in totally new situations or meeting people from different backgrounds, those early experiences and values still shape how I approach things. It's comforting, but it also reminds me how much we can learn from other people's family stories.
That's true. Hearing about how other families celebrate, argue, or support each other always opens my eyes to new perspectives. It's a reminder that, while family shapes us, we get to choose how we carry those lessons forward.
Exactly, and I think that's what makes talking about family so interesting. It's personal, universal, and always evolving. Thanks for this conversation. I feel like I've rediscovered a few things about my own family along the way.
So, it's funny how much we let the weather dictate what we do in a day. If I wake up and it's pouring rain, suddenly my whole plan changes. No morning run for me. Do you find yourself adjusting your schedule a lot based on the forecast?
Honestly, almost every day. I keep a little mental checklist if it looks like sunshine. I'm instantly more motivated to get outside or even just run errands. But a gray, drizzly day? I'm way more likely to stay in and binge a show or start baking. It's wild how much my mood swings with the weather, too.
Same here. Sometimes I think I'd get so much more done if we just had a climate dial for perfect weather. But then again, those rainy days are perfect for slowing down, right? There's something kind of comforting about it.
Oh, totally. Rainy afternoons basically give me permission to chill out and catch up on things I'd usually ignore. But it also gets me thinking about how people in different places have to get creative with their routines, like folks in Seattle, for example. They can't let a little rain stop them.
That's actually a good point. I remember visiting a friend in Minnesota one winter, and people there just went about their business snow up to their knees. Makes me realize how adaptable humans are when it comes to the weather.
It's so true. I grew up in Arizona, where summer is basically a survival exercise. Triple-digit temperatures meant you did everything early in the morning or after sundown. Meanwhile, someone in Norway might be skiing to school in January. Weather really does shape culture in subtle ways.
I love hearing those stories. Even seasonal foods and holidays are built around the weather, like harvest festivals in autumn or all those backyard barbecues in the summer. It's like we're all working around the elements, no matter where we live.
Exactly. It's fascinating to see how traditions shift depending on climate. For example, in places with long winters, people tend to have more indoor games and gatherings, while beach towns practically live outdoors as soon as it's warm enough.
Shifting gears just a bit, isn't it wild how obsessed we've become with checking the weather app? I can't remember the last time I went a day without glancing at a forecast, sometimes multiple times.
It's kind of addictive, right? I'll check the radar before deciding if I can walk to work or if I need to grab an umbrella. My parents used to just look at the sky or listen to the radio in the morning. Now, I get minute-by-minute rain alerts on my phone.
And yet, with all this tech, sometimes the predictions are still wildly off. Last weekend it said clear skies, and then boom, downpour. Makes me wonder if we trust the forecast too much sometimes.
I've definitely been caught out like that. But I guess part of the fun is the unpredictability. Weather's just one of those things we can't fully control, no matter how many apps or satellites we have.
Funny thing, weather is basically everyone's go-to topic when you meet someone new or there's an awkward silence. Why do you think it's such a universal icebreaker?
Probably because it's something we all experience, and it's totally neutral. No one's going to get offended talking about a thunderstorm. Plus, I think it's an easy way to show empathy. Like, wow, that heat wave was brutal last week, huh? And suddenly you're both commiserating.
Yeah, and sometimes those little chats about rain or cold turn into more personal stories, like that time your power went out or you got caught in a freak hailstorm. It's like weather is the entry point to sharing real experiences.
Exactly. It opens the door to all kinds of conversation. And honestly, if you ever run out of things to say, just mention the forecast. Someone always has an opinion or a story to share.
What always surprises me is how much weather can affect our mood like. I actually feel lighter on a sunny day and sluggish when it's gloomy out. Do you notice that too?
Definitely. There's a real science behind it too. Sunlight boosts serotonin, which makes us happier, while too many gray days can actually bring people down. I find I'm way more productive with a bit of sun streaming in.
Same. I've even started keeping a little arsenal of things to do on rainy days, indoor hobbies, extra coffee, that kind of thing. It helps balance out the blah days.
That's smart. I think being prepared for whatever the weather brings mentally and practically makes a huge difference. And hey, no matter what, there's always tomorrow's forecast to look forward to.
So, thinking about it, we start almost every conversation with something like, "Hi, how are you?" It's such a default opener. But I've always been curious, do people actually want a real answer, or is it just habit?
It's funny you say that because I catch myself asking without even thinking sometimes. Most of the time, I'm just being polite, but I do wonder if there's a deeper reason behind it. Maybe it's just a safe way to start connecting with someone.
Yeah. It feels like a built-in script we all follow. And when someone actually answers honestly, it can catch you off guard. Like, wait, are we about to have a real conversation?
Totally. I've had moments where I just expected a quick, "Good, how about you?" But the person really opened up. It shifts the vibe instantly, sometimes in a good way, sometimes it's a little much for the moment.
That brings me to this. What do you usually do if someone actually tells you how they're feeling, like really shares what's going on?
Depending on my mood, I try to listen. Last week, someone told me they were having a tough day right after I asked. It kind of caught me by surprise, but I ended up asking a few more questions. It felt good to connect for real.
I know the feeling. Sometimes it feels like a little gift when someone trusts you enough to be genuine. But I'll admit, there are times I'm not ready for that level of honesty, especially if I'm in a rush.
That's so relatable. There's that tension between wanting to be polite and not always having the time or energy for a deep conversation. I think a lot of people just default to the safe answer for that reason.
Speaking of polite routines, have you noticed how greetings change in different countries? Like, in some places, asking, "How are you?" is way more formal. Or it might not even be part of the opening at all.
Absolutely. My friend from Japan said they rarely ask personal questions right off the bat. Instead, they might comment on the weather or just bow. It's almost like each culture has its own unwritten rules for small talk.
That's so cool. I've heard in Italy people might greet with a kiss on the cheek, which is a whole other level of familiarity. Makes you think maybe our "how are you" is just our culturally approved way of breaking the ice.
Good point. And sometimes, if you travel, you have to unlearn your own habits. I once tried to do the double cheek kiss in France and totally messed up the timing. It's a real lesson in local customs.
That actually reminds me, do you think texting and social media have changed the way we greet each other? I feel like I'm way more casual in a text, sometimes just sending an emoji instead of words.
Oh, for sure. Sometimes I just send a waving hand emoji or even skip the greeting altogether. It makes the whole ritual feel less important. But maybe that's just part of chatting quickly online.
It's interesting sometimes. Not saying hi at all feels normal in a group chat. But if you did that in person, it seems so rude. Do you think we're losing something? Or just evolving the way we connect?
I think we're just evolving, but sometimes I do miss the warmth of a genuine "how are you?" in person. Digital communication is faster, but it can also feel a bit hollow if you never check in for real.
So, after all this, do you think there's a way to make our greetings feel more meaningful, even with all our busy routines and digital shortcuts?
One thing I've tried is actually listening for the answer, even if it's a quick chat at the coffee shop. Sometimes a genuine smile and a real "how are you?" can brighten someone's day.
I love that idea. Even little tweaks, like pausing and making eye contact, can turn a routine greeting into a real moment of connection. Makes me want to experiment with it this week.
Same here. It's kind of exciting to think we can reclaim those tiny interactions. Who knows, maybe the next time someone asks, we'll both share something more real than just "I'm good, how are you?"